Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Latina Epps Thomas. I am a naturopathic doctor, a certified yoga instructor. I am the co-author of the book, The Health Coach Collective. I am a mommy. I wear a lot of hats. But today, you are watching Coffee Break Live with Dr. Latina. And today, I'm so excited because I am here at NeuroSource, which is an amazing place for all kinds of alternative services. They have alternative services for everything from ADD to age-related cognitive decline, migraines, depression, tinnitus, vertigo, stress-related symptoms. But today we are here because we are talking about alternative methods for pain management. And I'm so excited to show you another great way that you can deal with your pain. Remember, you don't have to use that little pill that we have so many addiction problems with. You can actually do things that will help with managing your pain. And so today we're here at NeuroSource, and we are going to be talking with Dr. Dale Foster and with Leanne Foster about pain management and about the services that they have here, as well as I'm going to actually show you specific frequency microcurrent procedures. So make sure you stay tuned because we are going to be showing all of that and getting all of your questions asked. So if you have questions, make sure that you put your questions in the comments so that we can answer those questions. So let's go on inside. There we go. I got our comments on. So we're going to go inside, and here we go. Up says face covering required. So let me put my face mask on. Back on. There we go. All right.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So this is my friend Leanne Foster. She is one of the owners and one of the practitioners here at the facility at NeuroSource, and she's going to give us a tour of the facility as well as go through some of the services that they do. So I'm excited about this tour. Show us around.
Hey, good to see you. I hope you can see my smiling eyes.
I know that's what we have to do, right?
Let's first go into the room of my husband's office and let's look at some brain mapping. And we'll talk about one of the primary things that we do here at NeuroSource.
Okay.
Hello.
Well, hello, Dr. Foster. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good, good, good. So what is that back there?
Okay, so I am a neuropsychologist and a quantitative EEG diplomate and a biofeedback certified in neurotherapy. So I do a lot of things with the brain.
That's a lot of big words there,
And
Dr.
yeah,
Dale.
yeah.
Break it down.
So basically, the most powerful form of health is if you can tune your brain up, because your brain is the master organ. It's going to help you control your behavior, your thinking, your hormones, your blood sugar, your stress. And if you can tune your brain, then you can basically tune up your experience, your life, your consciousness. So this is a brain map. I want to show you that it's actually a moment in time of an ongoing brain map that would be connected to someone's brain. It would be a quantitative EEG, a functional neuroimage.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a SPECT scan or a PET scan or a functional MRI, showing the brain like the engine of experience as it's running. So we can take a brain's electrical information, compare it to the normative database of a high-functioning, healthy brain, and feed that back to the individual. They usually don't watch this. This would be boring eventually. But I can watch this and know what it means. But
it's exciting for you, right?
I'm really excited. But what we can do with that information is connect it to a reward, like a movie that gets brighter and louder when you're doing better, and
Okay.
gets dimmer when you're doing worse. And it's changing at such a rate, 32 times a second, that the brain and its fast processes can catch on and learn how to keep moving in the right direction. Instead of getting worse and worse and worse, the brain wants to get better and better and better. It's a natural thing. And it's also the natural desire for the brain to watch the movie because it's entertaining. Even if you don't want to watch a movie, you can just watch a green dot that says yes, 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 no, 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 yes, 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 no, 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 no. And it trains your brain like we train rats to run a maze. It's like operant conditioning. If you move the cheese just right, the rat will learn the maze. If you show a person their brain just right, they'll learn to tune their brain. And I call it tuning your brain for happiness. And there's only one person who can do that, and that's the owner of the brain. Okay? But with science, neuroscience, we can help that along by helping people move toward an optimally functioning brain. And that's what neurofeedback does.
So how do they go about doing that? Like, do they sit in a chair and watch the screen?
Exactly. No, yeah. So they'll watch a movie while wearing a cap that takes 19 channels of electroencephalography.
Okay, so that goes on the head.
This goes on the head, connects to the computer, and that's how we generate that brain map. So
Okay.
it's like looking at an engine while it's running. Now, you could look at the brain with an MRI or a CT scan, and it may have all its parts, but it may tell you nothing about how well it runs. You have to look at its function, and that's what this is. This is the function of the brain, how well it's running every 1/32nd of a second.
Okay, so what are they watching? So they put this
They
on
can
their
watch
head.
any movie.
Oh, they actually watch a movie.
Yeah, on Netflix or
Oh,
YouTube.
it's an actual movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were watching their brain. No, they're actually watching a movie.
Yeah, I'm watching their brain.
Ah.
They're watching the movie that tells them instantly better, 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 worse, 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 better, 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 worse, worse, worse. And they don't even have to think about it because their brain already wants to see the movie. Like the
So
rat.
it's a physiological learning, not a cognitive learning. So this is why we can train 3-year-olds with autism who can't even speak. And we can get their brain to have better functional habits. And sometimes they start to speak, but they definitely calm down the anxiety and the stimming behaviors. The VA pays for veterans with PTSD and traumatic brain injury and neurological, issues like stroke, things like that. And then we see a lot of people, adults and children, who have attention deficit issues or learning disabilities or chronic pain.
And it's based on the principle that everything we do depends upon a functional network in the brain.
Right.
So you look at the network, like for anxiety or focus or mood management or vision or hearing or anything that the brain does, we can identify the network and see where it needs to be worked. Like training a muscle, if you pick up a dumbbell and do this, you'll get a bigger bicep. If you do neurofeedback with that, or actually your left prefrontal cortex is a really big one, that's where your focus muscle is.
Right.
If you can't focus, you can't do much of anything.
Hello.
And the better your focus is, the more efficient you can be. So
Right.
train focus a lot. Focus and attention is like the first thing you're training. But then once you're better at focusing, you can train your pain network. You can retrain part of the brain that's been destroyed by a stroke. You can retrain your ability to read,
Wow.
to learn,
Okay.
to pay attention, to calm your anxiety, to sleep better. So,
I love that.
and
So when is there like a specific movie they're watching?
anything that motivates them. It's like the rat choosing what flavor of cheese.
Okay.
You can use any cheese. You can use Gouda, cheddar,
Okay. And then do you send electrical pulses through the cap, or
now, that would be a completely different thing. So neurofeedback just reads the information and shows it to the individual who owns that information, and they at some level feel it.
Okay.
Now, sending a signal in is also possible. Very different methods you can do that to help a brain out. by giving it some energy
Okay.
if it's needed. And so we do that too through transcranial stimulation
Okay.
to help a brain when it needs
So that's
it.
another service that you have here.
Absolutely. And we
Okay,
can stimulate
great.
the body as well, which is what Leanne's going to show you in just a moment.
Okay, all right. That's exciting. So my question then is, they're doing the neurofeedback. You're watching a movie. They're sitting here with the cap on. You're getting all the information about the brain. So now that you have all this information about the brain from this service, what then? Like, how do you change what you're
So
reading?
it's
Or how
not
do
me
you...
getting the information.
Well, the brain
The
is
users,
giving.
yeah, the brain gets it's like the brain is looking in a mirror. And it sees itself and it gets information that says, oh, this is when you're getting better. And then the brain does that again and
Okay.
again and again, so that eventually the computer is like training wheels that you remove because
Okay.
they get in the way. You already have internal biofeedback that keeps you balanced.
Uh-huh.
You're not falling down right now,
Right,
right?
right,
So
right,
you're standing up, so
right,
you're
right,
balanced, and there are many balancing systems. There's balancing your attention, balancing your mood, balancing your anxiety, balancing your ability to converse and to use language. All you're balancing your reality testing.
Right, right.
Are you in touch with reality? And,
Right.
and you're doing pretty good.
I think I am.
And so if we tune something up, it would just get better.
Okay.
It's about finding flow.
Okay.
We call it precision happiness, personalized precision happiness, because you're the only one that knows when you're moving toward it or not.
Right.
And you can get better and better at balancing your own happiness through training the right systems.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this could even, I mean, this would even be good for people that have had like some type of emotional trauma,
Absolutely.
Abuse,
Yeah.
or like you said, PTSD,
Yeah.
or depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've experienced trauma, which fragments us.
Right.
This is like learning to put yourself back together.
Oh, I love
To
that.
resolve your trauma and have a unitive experience, because that's what flow is. Flow is feeling one and whole and united with everybody and everything forever and ever. And you can find flow more and more by tuning your tuner that's kind of like guiding you into the flow.
Yeah. I love that. So it's really almost on the same principles as Eastern medicine, right? Like with the chi.
East meets
Yeah.
West, yeah.
Chi, right?
first-
the
yeah,
chi,
exactly.
the
It's
flow in your body, it's your
exactly.
chi.
Well,
And
and like
it's
with
science,
trauma, we oftentimes think talk therapy is the way, but a lot of times with talk therapy, we get re-traumatized as we talk about it. Or with developmental trauma, I had a lot as a child. And no matter how much I knew cognitively that what I was seeing and feeling wasn't actually accurate, I couldn't change it. I couldn't
Right,
get my
you couldn't
body to stop responding and reacting in self-protective ways.
Yes.
Well, with the neurofeedback, it trains the physiology into new habits. So once I train my body and physiology into new habits, then I'm sorry,
That's
talking
okay.
off
I
script.
know what you're talking to me.
Then once we train the physiology, then the brain has help figuring out a new way of thinking and perceiving, right? I'm not fighting against, my brain isn't fighting against my body anymore. So for those of us with developmental trauma, that's a big hairy deal,
Yeah.
I know this situation isn't dangerous cognitively, but everything in my body is telling me I'm in danger.
You're still in fight or flight mode.
Exactly. And so we do a lot of things to train the physiology into wiser, more reasonable habits, so that I can look at a situation and go, even though I have triggers here from an old part of my life, I can now face this situation without getting re-triggered and getting traumatized.
Love it. Love it. You guys, this is amazing. And make sure you put your comments in there or any questions you may have, because we will definitely be answering your questions. Well, thank you, Dr. Dale. I know that you have somebody here waiting for you. Let's see the rest of the clinic.
Let's do it.
Okay, so you go ahead and lead.
Okay.
I will follow.
All right. I want to first of all show you a room that is not right now being used, but in 6 months, we're going to have a new float room where couples can float together.
That's exciting, because
It's
you know what?
super
I don't know anything about about floating. I don't know anything about it, but a friend of mine just did it, and she said it was amazing. She said it was the best nap she had ever had in her life.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that because y'all know I love my naps.
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to
So,
be the room it's
all
going
right.
to be in right here.
Yep. So what we have here is our old float tank that we've had since 2004. She can come down here and kind of show. We have somebody who's interested in this. He's coming Friday to check it out because he knows the benefits of flotation. So what's in here when we had it running and what will be in our new float room, which will take up this entire area.
Oh, wow.
Floor to ceiling.
Mhm.
And you'll step in and like I said, couples can float together. But what's in here is completely filtered water. So no chlorine, no fluoride, so that there's no hormone disruptors in the
Yes,
water.
because that fluoride,
Ugh,
yes,
hard.
terrible.
But, you know, thyroid disruption. Huge.
Hello.
Yeah, me too, girl.
Hello.
And then we put about 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts. And we clean it with food grade hydrogen peroxide and ozone.
Mhm.
So it's very, very clean. It's filtered all the time. And what you do is you shower first and get
Mhm.
everything cleaned off.
Mhm.
You get in the float tank and you lay down. And it's like so much more buoyant than even the Dead Sea because of all that Epsom salt. And so you float. And what happens is
So you're not going to drown.
you're absolutely not going to drown. You can't even force yourself. You know, it's real hard to force yourself.
It's hard to do
get
it in
down.
the Dead Sea, but I can, okay.
Yeah.
That's-
So
okay.
what happens is your body gets so relaxed because there's no pressure points. Like when you're
Right.
laying in a bed, there's pressure points, right?
Absolutely.
No pressure points.
Oh.
And you can have light in there or dim light or no light. You can have music or no sound. And so they call it restricted environmental stimulation therapy. And that's because you don't have to deal with any stimulation. And so your body doesn't have to go through all that processing of sound and light
literally
and touch.
can just relax.
You can literally just relax. So for many people, it's kind of weird the first time because they've not experienced the ability to relax. So their brain starts tuning up, right? And
Right. Those
So we
little
like-
voices in your head.
Absolutely. So we like to, before people get in the float tank, to have them do some heart rate variability sessions where we help them meditate with feedback so they can see how they're doing.
Oh,
Because
okay.
sometimes when we meditate, we don't realize that we're just chatting.
Monkey brain.
Yeah,
It's called
monkey
monkey brain.
And
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
It's just
it's
the way
not.
we are.
You just you acknowledge. You
Exactly.
acknowledge that it's there, and then you just let it go.
Yeah. So we have methods where we get feedback about how well we're doing. So we like to train people a little bit before they get in there so that they have a better experience.
Okay.
So flotation is oftentimes used for anxiety, for insomnia, for pain, and even addiction.
really?
So we're going to be very excited to get the float room up because one of the things from this float tank is that people would feel claustrophobic.
okay.
Even though it's pretty big in there when you get in 7
I mean,
foot
yes,
long,
it's
5 foot wide,
really big.
but they would still feel claustrophobic. So in the float room, you literally just step in and it'll be floor to ceiling and
Oh wait, it's a whole big. It's huge.
yeah, it's huge. And that's why a couple can float together,
Ah.
which is cool. We went to Austin and floated together for the first time, and we were like, that's it. We got to do that here. Because that's, for couples, that's amazing.
That would be really, really cool. Okay. All right. So this is the float room that we have in here. And then this is the waiting room.
We like to keep things nice and calming.
It is. It's very homey in here.
Yeah.
Very, very, very homey. I love it.
Definitely want to deal with anxiety in the way that helps reduce it.
Okay.
so
So we're coming in
Come on
here.
in here. So this is the room in which we do what's called frequency-specific microcurrent. Okay, so
Alright.
this is an interesting technology that we started using a couple years ago as an adjunct to everything that we do. So part of our goal here is to help people become independently healthy
Mhm.
and to find ways to, with the least invasive way possible. Do we need to move over so you're
Let's see
you in there?
I know. I'm trying to get in with the, and we also have the Instagram going on here. There we go. Let's see if we can get us both in here. Where am I going this way? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
There
gonna
we go.
switch over this way.
Okay. There we go.
So what we're trying to do is help the body to have enough information to re-regulate itself, because our bodies are self-healing superpowers,
Absolutely.
but we got to get out of the way,
Absolutely.
you know, and there are time and place for pharmaceutical medications,
Mhm.
but we become a culture who's too reliant.
Too dependent on it. Yes.
And in a way where it's just, you know, not even getting rid of symptoms, masking symptoms.
We're masking symptoms, and then you get something for the symptoms, and then you got to get something else for those symptoms
Right.
that those drugs are giving you. And it's
Yeah.
just like a vicious cycle where you have one thing that's the root cause of the problem, and you end up taking 23 different pills for that one thing because you've got to deal with all the symptoms as well. So
Exactly.
okay, all right.
So what we do here is we really do try to get at the root cause. So like the brain mapping, for instance, like ADD. I could have 10 kids with ADD with the same behaviors. All of them would have a completely different brain map.
Of course.
They would have different root causes of why they're feeling the way they're feeling. Okay. And so with that treatment, it's an individualized approach of assessment and treatment. It's the same thing with the frequency specific microcurrent. Now we use it for pain and we use it for brain. We've had a lot of people with traumatic head injury, and one of the long-term effects of traumatic head injury is depression.
Yes. You know, depression and anger.
Yes, and insomnia and pain and physical pain. And so what we found is when we use the frequencies in these cases, the frequencies increase endorphins by 500%.
Wow.
And they increase the cellular energy, ATP production, by 500%.
Okay.
So this has been shown in animal studies.
Yeah.
So what that translates to in real experiences, a lot of people get on that mat and I hook them up with the frequencies and they feel a little stoned. In the very best way. In the very best way. Right? Like it's
a healthy stone.
Yeah. The endorphins are
Healthy
those
high.
feel-good, happy chemicals.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people just start talking and they start feeling good. And it's super helpful with depression because it helps them kind of remember that state of feeling good.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
But without chemical.
Okay.
Right?
So can you change the frequencies depending on what the issue is?
Yes.
So for example, if somebody, like I have an autoimmune disease and Hashimoto's, so is there a frequency just for thyroid issues or for autoimmune diseases or for Hashimoto's?
Yes.
It's specifically for Hashimoto's.
Yeah, I have Hashi's too.
Yep.
And last year I reversed all my antibodies were gone. And so part of it was using this. It's a multifaceted, as you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So
this is just one tool in the toolbox you have for dealing with, you know, a chronic dis-ease in your body. This is just one tool to support your body. It's multiple things you need to do when you're trying to heal from a disease. But this is one of them, and I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about this. So there is a specific frequency for that. So is there a specific frequency for, say, cancer or heart disease or something like that?
That's out of our lane. Okay. So we're psychologists. So what's in our lane is mood dysregulation, brain dysregulation, pain. Okay, but let me talk a little bit about the frequencies, because a lot of people that use this frequency specific microcurrent, like they're using it in the pediatric neurology department at Cleveland Clinic with kids who've had spinal cord accidents. They're helping them regenerate nerve growth. They're helping them with nerve pain. This is one of the few technologies that helps deal with nerve pain really well. Like if somebody has a cervical injury that caused fibromyalgia, we can get rid of that. And there was one woman that came to us with chronic migraines and fibro, and within 15 visits, she came in and said, I don't even think I have fibro anymore. It's gone.
Wow.
But it's very specific. So, you know, everything that's called fibro is not the same.
Right. Oh, exactly.
And so these frequencies, it's a 2-channel unit. And so the training for it is ongoing and complex. So channel A tells us what to do. Channel B tells us to what tissue to do it.
Okay.
So for instance, with the fibro, we reduce inflammation in the spinal cord.
Okay.
And we run that for hours, and that oftentimes resolves the pain. We have had, if I'll get into the brain, I'll reduce inflammation like in the brainstem if somebody's having vestibular problems, right? Or tinnitus.
Yeah.
We can deal with things like that. So part of the complexity with the frequencies is I have to really listen closely to somebody to try to figure out what's at the root cause of this so I can program the frequencies specifically enough to address the root cause. And that's no small feat.
Well, no. No, because I mean, you've got to, when you're dealing with trying to get to the root cause of issues, you almost have to be like a detective, and you have to kind of take all of the symptoms are kind of like puzzle pieces, right? And you got to put you have to take those puzzle pieces and put them together, and that usually will give us what the root cause is. That's why when you come to me or when you come here, we ask 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
And it's not because we just like to ask questions, but we do.
We're nosy in a good way.
Right. But that really helps us be able to figure out how we can help support your body to function the way that it's supposed to function.
Yeah.
So let's go back real quick, because that reminds me, when you come in, you do not fill out a form. You actually have to do a few things first. So, Liam, tell us how someone can book an appointment with you, or how this all, what's the first steps of coming here?
Yeah. So our website is neurosource.net, N-E-T. And what we do is you can call in or email us, and then we schedule a phone consultation. Some people like to come in and do in person, and I'm okay with that if my schedule allows it. But we have to have a conversation to see if you're a good fit for our services.
Right.
Because our services are all helping the body do its own healing.
Right.
So in service of our services, we have to have people who are willing to make lifestyle changes. So we've got to get the toxic elements out.
Liam, say that again. Say that again. Say that again.
We have to have people who are willing to make lifestyle changes.
Did you hear that? This is not one of those things that you can just say, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to, take a pill, or I'm just going to do this, but I'm going to continue all the other crap that I'm doing in my body, and I'm not going to make those changes that I need to do. So
that doesn't work with anything. It
doesn't work with me either. Like, if you come to me, you're just wasting your money if you come have a consultation with me and think that you're not going to change what got you to where you were in the first place.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Yeah. We got to get the toxins out. We got to get dense nutrients in.
Yep.
We've got to get you in. Well, number one, we've got to get you willing to work on sleep hygiene, because sleep is the mama of the body, and if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
That's right.
So sleep is number one, right? And then stress management, and how are you thinking? Like, if you have a habit of thinking, awfulizing anxious thoughts, we're going to work with you, but you got to be willing to work with us, right?
Yeah. You can't just say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go in there and they're going to give me the stuff to do, but not do it. Like, just like a supplement, if you are low in iron and you are taking healthy blood, for example, it's not going to work if it just sits on your counter. It doesn't work through osmosis, people.
I wish.
Same way here. I know, sometimes I do too. Same way it is here. You have to do the work. So somebody goes on the website, and then they fill out the questionnaire, right?
Well, no, first they just call.
Okay.
And we have a phone conversation, and I usually spend 30 to 45 minutes on the phone with people.
Wow.
Because I really need to know a history of how you got here.
Mm-hmm.
I ask a lot of questions, as you do. And then we got to figure out, are we a good fit?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, we don't take insurance.
Right.
Because insurance does not allow practitioners to spend the kind of time with their clients that we spend and actually make a living.
Well, yeah. They don't. They. Yeah. We could go on and on about that.
Girl, could we go on? So anyway, if somebody is a good fit, then we send them a link to the paperwork that they fill out online. And then as soon as they submit it, we get it in and we schedule them.
Okay.
All right. And
Okay.
so by the time they walk in the door, most people know exactly what they're getting into. We're a good fit and we're ready to go.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, when we're dealing with pain, because that's what we're really talking about today is pain management, there is a specific frequency for, is it for pain or is it for inflammation?
So
the inflammation that's causing the pain.
yeah, so we got to figure out why we're having the pain. That's
Okay.
our first order of business.
Okay.
Inflammation is typically involved,
Right.
but not always. And the difficulty with pain, as you know, is you could have pain in one area, but it's a referred pain
Absolutely.
from somewhere else. And that's part of Carol McMakin. Anybody who wants to find out about frequency specific microcurrent can get on YouTube and get more information than they ever wanted to know. You can literally watch some of her courses that she teaches practitioners.
Okay.
She's an amazing woman, but she teaches us how to think through and how to really listen to the client, because the client, more than anybody, is going to tell you what's going on in their own language.
Right.
And so we're taught how to listen deeply and to keep asking questions to figure out, why are you having this pain?
Right.
Right. And so sometimes I'm going to hear, I've got this sciatic pain. Well, she teaches us what nerve roots to look for and treat. So we treat the nerves, we treat the discs, we treat the facets. And a lot of times when we get those treated, we don't even have to treat the muscles where people might think it's muscle pain.
Right.
Right.
Because you get the root cause of the problem.
Right.
Okay.
So like I have a lot of trigger points in my shoulders, and I take one of my units to go with me to my massage person, my massage therapist, and I run myofascial trigger points, and it just makes those melt. Those muscles melt under her hands.
So is this kind of like a TENS machine?
It is, and the FDA considers it a TENS machine, but it's milliamps, so you don't actually feel it. It's not like a TENS where you're like.
If you've ever had a TENS machine, you feel those little
right.
snaps.
And it's interesting. A TENS machine, because of the strength of the electricity, actually depletes mitochondrial ATP.
I did not know that.
It depletes the cellular energy. Whereas the milliamps increase cellular energy. Huge, huge issue.
Okay. I'm noticing on your screen that you're listening to, isn't this the frequency music?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually you can go on YouTube and there are frequency music for different things. I listen to this too.
Yeah.
And there's one for Hashimoto's that I sometimes put on. So yeah, you can YouTube that.
Yeah.
All right. So today, what are we doing? How are we getting started for pain? So my pain, just so you know a little bit, and you know mostly everything about me. Mine's coming from inflammation from Hashimoto's.
Right.
So are we going to work on the pain from the Hashimoto's or the Hashimoto's?
So I've got 4 units.
Okay.
So do you experience any anxiety, high cortisol, or where are you in terms of that?
I'm hypo.
Okay.
I'm hypothyroidism.
Yeah.
I have hypothyroidism, which means that my thyroid doesn't produce enough thyroid hormones to regulate everything the way it's supposed to. I do sometimes get anxiety, and you know how Hashimoto's can affect the brain. So you get the anxiety, you get the depression, you get that happens.
Yeah.
So I have that. But what was your other question?
So do you experience anxiety?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
All right. Brain fog.
Ugh.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
I get it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to work on calming the sympathetic nervous system. We're going to work on a brain balancing protocol that we do on everybody. And this is where about 25% of people feel a little stoned and they get real chatty.
This ought to be interesting, people.
Not everybody gets that way. Some people do. And then we're going to work on some brain fog. Now, at the very end, I'm going to run a couple frequencies to increase vitality in the thyroid.
Okay.
So that we can see if you might perk up a little bit.
Okay. That would be great, because yesterday was a struggle, let me tell you. Yesterday, and it's funny because I've actually a couple of people contacted me that have autoimmune diseases, one who has Hashimoto's. Yesterday was a struggle for them too. And I don't know what it was.
No, where was the moon?
That's a good, it's not woo-woo
No,
science.
it's not.
Our bodies are made of 75% water. And so the moon, just like just like the moon regulates the tides in the ocean, the moon regulates our bodies as well. So it can absolutely affect our emotions, it can affect our brains. It can affect a lot of things. Animals are a good example of that. You know, if your animal has been acting a little crazy, check the moon and see if it's a full moon or near a full moon or coming out of a full moon. Yeah. That's usually when they're a little nuts and you're like, you're a little demon.
Yeah. Ask any ER doctor, right?
My mom was a nurse and she hated working on full moons.
Yeah.
She hated it because she said they would all get full. The ER would get full.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. What do we need to do?
So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to have you take off your socks and shoes because I'm going to put a wet, warm towel around your neck and I'm going to put a wet, warm towel around your ankles.
Okay.
And you're going to lay on a biomat that is heated. So we've got some infrared light.
Okay, so tell me what a biomat is.
So a biomat has tourmaline and crystals inside of it. So it heats with this incredible heat that penetrates the tissues of your body and brings down inflammation. Oh. And this mat also has light, infrared light, which also brings down inflammation. And it, again, feeds those cells what they need to create more cellular energy for healing.
Okay, awesome. All right.
So I'm going to have you get ready.
So I'm going to lay down on the bed here. So let's get set up so you can see the bed.
And while you get that set up, I'm going to run and get those wet, warm towels.
All righty. There we go. Remember, if you have questions, make sure that you ask your questions because that's what we're here for. Let's see. Oh, Stacy says, I need this. Yes, girl. I'm so excited about this. Make sure that you, I'll put all of their information, all of the contact information for NeuroSource in the comments and as well as their website and how you can follow them. Make sure you follow them on their pages and everything me laid out.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's get started. So let me scoot this back maybe just a little bit.
I'm also going to send you a link for an introductory lesson on the frequency specific microcurrent because any massage therapist, physical therapist, anybody who's interested, I would love to have more practitioners in this area or any area using this technology. It's amazing. So
there we go. Let me see. I think if I can put it like this, I think we'll be able to see really well what's going on. All righty.
Okay, I'm going to have you.
There we go.
Okay. So I'm going to have you lay down. I'm going to have you put that beautiful hair up so like a ponytail for just a minute while I get this. There we go. Okay. Lay on down.
Okay.
And I'm going to rub that here. Turn on the lights on this little puppy. And
so you don't have to get undressed for this.
Not at all.
Okay. So people, you don't have to see me naked today. It's happened before.
I love how you're doing this. This is awesome.
Do I have to take off any watches?
Well,
or
I
anything?
would actually. Let's
Metal?
put your necklace. Let's get your necklace off.
The necklace would be good because this is actually a frequency.
A necklace.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. It's a. So that's probably a good idea to take that off.
Yeah. Beautiful.
We don't want it blocking anything.
Okay, so I am hooking up. What I've got is a warm towel around your neck and warm towels around your ankles, and you'll get warmer and warmer on this biomat, as you know.
Okay, so far the biomat is amazing. I'm just letting you know it feels really good because it's super warm.
It is super warm, and you let me know if it gets too warm because I can turn it down.
No, okay.
And then I've clipped these electrodes to these towels. Now, how hydrated are you with water?
I mean, I just drank a bunch before I came in here.
Okay.
So I think pretty good.
Okay. So
Does that matter?
Yeah, hydration is super important because the frequencies, you know, that water is such a miraculous thing. And water is really, in many ways, a cellular communication avenue.
Yeah, let them know.
Yeah,
Tell them.
so being
What do I always tell you? Drink your water.
Yes, and the kind of water matters. You know, we use a
Absolutely.
Berkey filter. I know you use different. Whatever
Mhm.
filter you use, let it take out, you know,
Fluoride,
fluoride, chlorine.
yeah.
They're thyroid disruptors,
Yep.
and we just have thyroid epidemic in this
Mhm,
world, right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
so good water. Now I have this little crystal. I'm gonna let y'all look at that.
It's beautiful. I was noticing it.
It's actually a physics foundation, the Resonance Science Foundation. They grow these, and the story behind them is amazing. Resonance Science Foundation, but they structure water.
Huh.
And so when I wear this, I feel more hydrated, and I do structure my water at home. All right, girl, I am going to start a protocol just to calm down that sympathetic nervous system.
Okay.
All right.
So the electrodes are actually attached to the wet towel at my
Yes.
feet and the one that's here at my neck.
Yeah.
So you don't actually put it on the body?
Well, if people have gut issues, like we've had really good luck with SIBO and H. pylori.
Really?
Yeah.
Because those are so hard to treat.
They are, but we use a combination of supplements, dietary change,
Right,
and then the
absolutely.
frequencies. So if that's the case, or if they have lower back issues, we're going to wrap towels around the midsection too, and hook to the midsection as well.
So the electrodes are never touching the body. They're only touching the towels.
They're only touching the towels.
Huh.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. And then
All right.
that's how it gets into the body. Now, a lot of people, I've got people who have bought these units so that they use them at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like people who have like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where their ligaments are so lax.
Yep.
They're going to need one of these for a lifetime because we can actually strengthen the ligaments with this.
Really? I actually have some people. Allison, this is for you. This is for you. Yes. She's publicly has said that, so I can say that
Yeah.
on camera.
That's a big deal. So somebody
Allison,
like
check this
that
out.
would buy them. You know, we've got some Parkinson's patients
Mhm.
who do really well with the frequencies, but they're going to have to be people who either buy them or come regularly.
So this wouldn't be something that you would suggest for someone like me who has an autoimmune disease to get.
Well, you can do a lot with it. Like if somebody buys this, I can put 45 programs on it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a program for, and I use this, and my numbers went way down for autoimmunity,
Mhm.
but also for Epstein-Barr virus.
Really?
Yes. And so I was able to really.
So this can actually help to support the body to heal from Epstein-Barr. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
I used to get flares all the time, and I'd feel it and get exhausted. And since I've been using this on a regular basis, I'm not getting those flares anymore.
Oh wow.
So there's a lot we can do with it.
So is this like the Rife machine?
No. The Rife machine has different frequencies and a different way of delivering them.
Okay.
But this is so specific that we can program. I mean, I've got thousands of frequencies that we can use. So, you know, one of the really, really interesting things is if somebody gets diagnosed with shingles and they get in here quickly enough, with 8 hours of treatment, we can assist your body in overcoming the shingles.
Oh, wow.
Now, if it goes into post-herpetic neuralgia and you've got nerve damage,
right,
it takes longer, but we can still work on nerve damage.
Wow.
If you look at Carol McMakin's information about how she has used these frequencies, she's worked with sports stars who got injured right before a big game, and they were told it would be, 3-4 months of healing. They've flown her out, and she's gotten them healed like in a matter of weeks instead of months.
Wow.
So it speeds healing. I had a 6-hour oral surgery of taking out root canals and putting implants in. And I used these frequencies before and during and after that surgery. And I had no bleeding, no swelling, no pain. I didn't even take an Advil.
Wow.
So it really has been a super helpful tool.
This is amazing. I mean, this is super amazing.
It's pretty amazing stuff. You know,
Now-
this frequency stuff has been used since the 20s, but in 1934, the American Medical Association decided to outlaw that with nutrition, outlawed it.
Well, of course they did, because they also outlawed iodine, because iodine was like a panacea for so many different issues.
Yeah.
If you're deficient in iodine, that can cause I mean, there's like a list a mile long of things that can be caused because of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, we don't claim to heal anything.
No,
We
we
don't
support
claim-
the body to heal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. In a non-invasive way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not about us, right?
Exactly.
It isn't. We're just the vessels, just the tools to
Yes.
help to support your body,
Yeah.
or to educate you on how to support your body to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving this. Now, I can tell you, I don't feel anything. Like
Mhm.
I love the biomat because it's very warm
Mhm.
and it feels amazing on my back.
Yeah.
But I don't, there's no.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling any of these microcurrents,
Yeah.
or I'm not feeling anything that's going on. So
Most people don't. Now, I do have some massage therapists who come in because, you know, their job is hard on the body. So I have some that come in so that they can get some relief on their muscles. And those are the only people who feel frequency, but they're trained feelers. You know, so there we go. Now, a lot of people, especially people with chronic pain, one of the ways that I know that I've got some frequencies that are at root cause, addressing root cause, is they get super tired. They get super tired, like they can't keep their eyes open. And so I just tell them to go to sleep. And so that's one indication with chronic pain clients that we've got something right.
Okay.
So it's a lot of work to figure out what's at the root and how do I program these frequencies so we can get at it.
Right.
And some of them are time dependent. Like we can repair torn and broken ligaments, for instance. Not if they're completely torn, but if they're, ripped or whatever.
You want to grab a seat where you can tell all these people.
So we can repair
Yeah,
things.
you probably want to come over here.
Yeah,
so I can
thank
see
you. Move over here.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, one time I had a veteran. Good girl.
You see it there, you know.
I'm not very good with spatial
Oh,
stuff.
it's okay. You're doing good.
One time we had a veteran who had his meniscus was not completely torn, it was a partial tear. And it was so awesome because he was a surgical assistant, and so he knew his anatomy. And that's my dream. If I can get clients who know anatomy and they can tell me what's going on where, then I'm in business. Because I've got a lot more study to do on anatomy to be able to be really good at this. Fortunately, when you become a provider in frequency-specific microcurrent, you have an entire world full of people who are there to support you and help you. So when I get somebody in, I can get on my group and say, help, I need help. And they're right there to help. So.
And trust me, you may think your doctor, when you go into an allopathic doctor's office, they don't always know how to treat something. They may be looking at, hey, let me do a little research on this real quick.
Yeah.
Because when you're in school, when you learn so much that it's hard to be unless you deal with that every single day, it's hard to know exactly what to do for a particular thing. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense to be able to have your colleagues that you can go to be able to get the answers that you need, so that you can then be the best practitioner for your clients as you can.
Absolutely. And speaking of the allopathic doctors, I feel for them in our system, in the current system, because with the insurance the way it is, they don't have time to get to the root of chronic issues because of the way the insurance system is set up. And so it's
Well,
sad.
that, and you know, they learn pharmacy, like this, there's this issue, this is the medicine that goes with this issue, and this is how we treat this particular issue.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, when you're more of a naturopath or something like that, you learn, okay, this is your body, this symptom is about your body's way of saying that something's not right. Well, the symptom is not the issue. That's just your body screaming at you, telling you that there is an issue.
Yeah.
For example, like allergies. Allergies are your body's way of saying that your gut health is not appropriate. It's not working.
Yeah.
And it's now affecting your immune system, and your immune system is coming out through your allergies.
Yeah.
So, you know, we kind of look at things in a little bit different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I think more allopathic doctors are now figuring out that way of just dealing with the symptoms is not working. So that's why you're having a lot more functional medicine doctors
Yes.
coming out that are saying there's more to it than just working with the symptoms.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just trying to mitigate the symptoms, but really trying to get to the root cause.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
grateful for that.
mhm.
Yeah, we see a functional doctor, and thankfully here there are more and more people functionally trained.
Yeah.
And so that's a blessing. So all right. So do we have questions, or
I don't know.
you
Do you see there's some comments on the side, on the
Okay.
right hand side.
I need
Uh,
this.
Stacy said she needs it. Is there anything else over there?
I don't see anything. So.
Okay. If you do have questions, by all means, remember to put them in the comments below. Whether you're on Instagram or on our other channels, that way we can answer your questions. Now, I do have a question. How long does this process take, or how long does this session take?
Yeah. So most people come in and do 45-minute sessions,
Mhm.
but some people like to come in and do 90 minutes.
Okay.
So one of the things that I haven't talked about yet is we do have a PTSD protocol with this.
Okay.
And what's been very cool using that protocol is that it works with the mood and the brain so well that what happens is when I hook people up, they oftentimes start to talk about the things that are bothering them,
Mhm.
but they're not so emotionally charged.
Yes.
So they're just calm. And I've had people do the PTSD protocol is recommended for 8 sessions, and they're 2 hours. It's a long session, but I've had people do those and come out and say, you know, I was able to recognize patterns in myself. I was able to recognize traumas, but see them for what they were and not have them bleed over into my life anymore.
Wow.
So that's been a really cool tool to have.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because if you can detach the fight or flight physiological part of the trauma or of the incident or the situation or whatever,
Yeah.
and be able to then logically be able to see, okay, this is what happened. I'm not in that situation anymore. Now I can move on and not have, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I could, yeah.
I hooked myself up to that PTSD protocol when COVID started because, I mean, COVID took our business down for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And that was scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was scary. We do have some protocols if somebody gets COVID.
Mhm.
I'm not going to want them in here, but but if they wanted a unit to help, and what they've done is they've created protocols that help with that systemic organ issue.
Okay.
And so there's been reports across the world of using that protocol very successfully.
Wow. Are they also using like the other protocols with like the high dose vitamin, IV vitamin C?
That would be good.
And other things.
That would be good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To know what else they're doing
Right.
with the frequency.
Right. The melatonin.
Mhm.
Yeah. The C.
Mhm.
Yeah. So many good things that we know we can do.
Mhm.
We're taking ivermectin, 12 milligrams a week, which is an old anti-parasitic.
Mhm.
My functional doc was happy to prescribe that for us because they know that it prevents and treats.
So I've been doing a little research on that because I've been kind of reading up on that. Now, did you have any of those side effects that they said were the rash or the nausea or any of the head migraines, anything that goes along with that?
No. And again, we're taking 12 milligrams once a week, but no symptoms. Both Dale and I have been taking it for months.
Okay.
So no symptoms.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Would that be something that I don't know what it's made out of. Is that something that you would need to then detox out of your body? Because I'm big on, if it's not natural, I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
So is that something you would need to detox out of your body? Is it something that's kind of toxic? That's what I've been reading about. Because I know that it was initially developed for animals, wasn't it? An animal parasitic?
There are some for animals, and then there are some for humans.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
Right.
so we have the human kind.
That's good.
But I know people are stocking up on the animal kind in case they get it.
Right.
But no, but our doc has actually treated some people who got COVID with it
Uh-huh.
after they got it, and they did really, really well. So,
wow. Okay.
there's different ways to protect yourself, but we want to be protected. We want other people to be protected. And
yeah, absolutely.
so that was just one of the tools that we decided to go ahead and use.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but speaking of detoxification, we can use these frequencies to do detoxification work. Like for instance, if somebody goes into surgery, and anesthesia can be super hard on the body.
Oh my
especially
gosh,
the
yes.
brain, and especially the older that we get.
Yes.
So we have ways to remove anesthesia post surgery.
Really?
So that your brain isn't so foggy.
Right.
So long.
Right.
Yeah. So that was I did that with the surgery that I'd gone through, the oral surgery. That was effective. We had a client who had chronic mold toxicity from living in moldy homes for years, and that can take somebody down if they have certain genetics.
That can actually lead to autoimmune disease.
Absolutely.
As well. Yeah.
Absolutely. So he had Marcons. So he had the mold had colonized in his sinuses, and he had not been able to breathe through his nose for years. So we ran the Marcons mold protocol, and he called me the next day and he said, I literally went home and my sinuses purged for hours, and I'm breathing through my nose today.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't easy.
I'm sure that was a lot that had to do with it.
It was a lot. And he had liposomal vitamin C, so he was stocked up to help himself. But so there's a whole lot that we can do with these frequencies.
So would this be something if somebody had Lyme disease? Do you have like a protocol for Lyme?
There are some. I've got one client who has Lyme, and it got neurological, and she's done a ton of healing work. But she bought one of these because the inflammation and pain are still an issue for her. And so she bought a unit so that she could have it at home and use it on a regular basis.
Okay. All right. Because I know that they use the Rife machine for Lyme, but I guess, would be kind of the same principles, same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
this
exciting.
Is not, the Rife can create a lot of die-off.
It does. That was going to be my next question. Now, does this create a lot of die-off as well?
It does not. I'm not going to say it doesn't create any, like the guy with the Marcons in his sinuses. That was tough.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
But it's because we're not detoxing in the same way as if like you were taking binders and chelating. It's a different sort of detox, so it's not as extreme of a die-off.
Okay. Okay. So if somebody, like, for example, for me with Hashimoto's, what would be the amount of sessions that I would need to do?
This is always where it gets tricky. So everybody's unique, as you know.
Right.
Sometimes we're told in training that a lot of things are going to take 6 to 8 sessions.
Okay.
But that's not always the case.
Right.
And so, like I told you about the woman with the chronic migraines and fibro, after 15 sessions, she was like, I'm good. I'm good. But I've had other people with, oh my goodness, like we have some veterans who Oh my gosh, they've been exposed to so many chemicals and they've been, had detonations go off near them. So they've got head injury, they've got a body full of toxins, they're
Mhm.
on a ton of medication.
Right.
And so it takes longer
Right.
with them
Right.
because there's just so much going on.
Right.
Um,
Is there an average of amount of sessions that a person would need to do?
I just
Or
can't
just
even
like
answer that.
with anything, it depends on how your body deals with it.
It does.
Like when it comes to with nutrition and nutritional deficiencies, dealing with those, it depends on how your body metabolizes
Yeah.
them. Like with herbs or anything
Yeah.
else, it just really depends.
It really depends.
Okay.
And like with Ehlers-Danlos, we've had people who have felt so good after it, but it only lasts a couple days.
Mhm.
And so, with people like that, I'm like, you should just buy a unit. And that way I can program it for you and your family with 45 programs, and I can reprogram whenever you need.
Right.
But that way you've got a tool for a lifetime.
Right.
And you don't have to keep coming and paying me.
Right.
I'd rather you have a tool.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah.
So then when they're at home, they would just do the same thing. Wrap the towel around their ankles, wrap the towel around their neck, attach the.
Yeah. So that's one way. I use this at home. Like I have lax ligaments.
Mhm.
So we walk a lot on the weekend.
Mhm.
And my hips can start swinging out of
Mhm.
out of alignment.
Mhm.
So I use these little sticky pads instead of these in the towels.
Okay.
And I put the sticky pads on my, up here on my neck and down here on my lower back. And I wrap this little puppy up, wrap the cord around it, and stick it in a fanny pack. And I wear that puppy while I'm walking.
Really?
Yeah. And it keeps my hips and my ligaments from, they're just so loose. It just keeps me firm and in line.
So, okay. So this is my next question. If you have multiple issues going on in your body,
Yeah.
and you said that can be programmed for 45 different programs.
Yeah.
Can you do more than one type of program at a time, or do you have to do it separately?
So you'd have to do it separately because this unit is running programs that are 2 frequencies at a time. And again, the frequency A is telling it what to do, and the frequency B is telling it to what tissue to do it, right?
Okay.
But like I have programmed for some of my clients hours worth of a program that addresses several different things. So they only have to hit it once, and like it could run all night. You could run it while you're sleeping.
Oh, okay. So if I have, so I have Hashimoto's, inflammation, pain, foggy brain, lax, because I'm hypermobile.
Oh yeah.
So hypermobility.
Okay.
And so you could actually, so they would run like one program would go, and then once that ended, the next program would go, and
Right.
then once that ended, the next. So you could actually do this at night.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
But you wouldn't use the towel. You'd use like the sticky pads,
Exactly.
like on the TENS machine.
Exactly.
Oh.
But I'll tell you something else that's funny. There are some veterinarians that are trained in this. And whenever I go at home, when I put my towels on, if I'm watching a movie, I put my towels on. Right now, I'm going to go into repair torn and broken ligaments to see if we can strengthen up your ligaments. But anyway, if I put my towels on and I'm watching a movie, my cat comes running. And he lays on those towels on me, and he just passes out. He loves it.
Really? So it would be okay if your animals.
Oh,
it's okay
yeah.
if your animals touch your.
Absolutely.
Touch the towel that the frequency is going through.
Yeah.
It's okay if a child touches it.
Absolutely. In fact, some of the clinics that use it with kids, what they'll do is they'll put the towels on the mom, and then they'll have her hold the child. You can also, I have clients who you can just hook these to a little washcloth, throw it in the bathtub, and you can load all the frequencies in the bathtub.
And get them while you're fry yourself?
And no, you're not going to fry yourself at all. In fact, we created a meditation protocol that we would use in the float tank when we had it up and running.
Really?
That would help you get into that relaxed state even more quickly.
Because I feel like if you did it in the water, it would be a much more all around, all over body experience.
Yeah. In fact, when
Huh.
we go to trainings, Carol infuses drinking water
Mhm.
with frequencies for brain balance and has everybody drinking the water.
Yes. Now, see that now this I've heard of because I do know that you can get water bottles that have been programmed with frequencies in
Yeah.
them. My necklace that I have has frequency in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this
Huh.
does that similarly. Yeah, it's a very versatile tool, and we haven't even begun to explore the depths of what it can do. We're just getting
Mm-hmm.
really educated about it, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, because remember, everybody, our bodies have frequency in them. This is not something made up. It's not a magical witch science. I mean, it's
No,
science. It's our
yeah,
bodies have electromagnetic frequencies in them already, just like the ground does, just like this cabinet does, just
Yeah.
like everything around us has frequency. That's how it kind of moves around.
yeah,
And so different frequencies, if something is hurting or pain, it's going to emit a different frequency
yeah.
um,
Then when it's healthy.
than when it's healthy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Our bodies are the same. Our bodies are the same frequency as the earth. Why? Well, makes sense, right? We're made
Yeah.
from the earth. So our bodies are the same frequency as the earth, which is why grounding or earthing
Yeah.
is so good for you.
Yeah.
Going out and connecting with the earth barefoot,
Yeah.
so that you can get those frequencies to get away from all of that electric smog that goes on
Exactly.
in your home from the lights or
Yeah.
the computer or the laptop, or even just even if you have nothing on, you still have electric
Yeah.
going through the house.
Yeah.
Because you have stuff plugged in. You have, I mean, it's just the way it is. So
Yeah.
you can't ever get away from it. But what you can do is you can do things to help mitigate the
Excellent.
issues that come from it.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
This is amazing.
Yeah, and that's speaking of which, that's one of the things we talk to all of our clients about is mitigating the damage of blue light technology.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll notice in our office, like, lamps that have red tinted light. So red light mitigates blue light, right?
Okay.
So
Mhm.
if your kids are like all kids are now on technology, you want to download apps to get that blue light out of the screen, right? So like on the iPhone, we've got what's it called? Night shift.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that helps get the blue light out of the screen. And then on the computer, you can download a free program called Flux that
Okay.
helps take the blue light out. You can get blue light blocking glasses.
Yeah.
Because that does a number on the brain. It tells your brain that it's daytime. So if you're looking at this stuff at night, you're not making melatonin.
Mm-hmm.
But it also interrupts dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
So our kids get, we call it video brain, but it's really a lot more about the blue light. They get foggy brain. They get hyper focused on things that they want to do, and then they don't want to do the things that don't bring immediate reward.
Right.
And that's
I
a
agree.
dopamine malfunction.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right, because I mean, I've seen all those kids that have just been so glued to their video games and things like that it's like crack.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, they fiend for it. They have to have it. They go crazy when they don't have it.
Yeah.
That's going to be really important when these kids have to go back to school.
Yeah.
Because they're so used to having a computer on and having a TV on, or having, TikTok is the big thing now, where but it's quick moving scenes that, when they have to go back to being in a classroom, we're gonna have some serious issues with these kids.
Yeah.
Some serious issues.
Yeah. So, blue light, getting that blue light blocking technology in glasses, making sure that they have a lot of omega-3s for their brain,
Mm-hmm.
Good magnesium glycinate or threonate, which helps calm that brain. There's a lot of things nutritionally we can do to really help them, getting them off the sugar. And I'll just,
Oh my gosh,
I know you and I are in agreement about this, but we work really hard to get our clients off gluten, at least while they're doing their brain training, because it is so inflammatory.
Yes, it is.
And it just destroys that lining of the gut, which is our immune system, which can prevent us from having all this inflammation that is driving so much disease.
Yep. If you don't believe that gluten increases inflammation in your body, go off gluten for 30 days and then try to have some gluten after that. I guarantee you will feel it.
Yeah.
You'll feel it. You'll absolutely, your brain will be like, what? Wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
it can lead to brain fog.
Yeah.
It can lead to inflammation in the joints
Yep.
and muscles. I know when I've had something that has had gluten in it, because the next day I'm just like, I can barely get out of bed.
Yeah.
And it could be just very little bit that I've eaten,
Yeah.
but I can barely get out of bed.
Yeah.
And I can't think of nothing.
I know
I
it.
won't be able to think.
Have you tried Zach Bush's Ion Biome supplement? It's a mineral that they've dug into the desert to find. And it really is a mineral composition like what our topsoil should look like if we hadn't destroyed it. Right.
Which we have. Mm-hmm.
And so he's done so much research on this liquid mineral supplement, and they have found that it will restore the mucosal lining within 16 minutes after a gluten assault.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it coming in a black bottle?
No, I'll show you.
Because I want to say I've actually I've seen that before, but maybe not. Huh.
That's the Ion Biome.
Okay.
And Zach Bush, I don't, do you know who he is? He was a cancer researcher. He's a triple board certified doc, and he gave all that up, and he has invested in this, but he's also created a nonprofit called the Farmer's Footprint.
Okay.
And it's all about helping us to reestablish the microbiome of the planet, because our microbiome can't be healthy unless the planet's microbiome is healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, I think he was in that documentary that I was watching on Netflix on the talking about the farming and how we're destroying the world and our food and our bodies because of the way that we're treating the soil.
Yeah.
And over farming particular areas and not giving them the break that they need or replenishing what those areas need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Really good stuff. And that was one of the blessings of COVID, right? Is that people are starting to get in their gardening.
Yes.
Getting in their yard and gardening.
Yes.
Now just stop using Roundup, please.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Because that, it really has been linked to autism. It's been
linked to cancer.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I mean, I can't even still believe that they sell Roundup.
I know.
And it's a known fact that, I mean, you can see Roundup cases. There's lawyers out there right now that are suing Roundup because of cancer. It's but you can still sell it. Like, that's crazy.
I think Costco stopped selling it. I think so. And if so,
well, you know what?
And many countries have banned it.
Yeah, True Green, because I asked them, they actually used to use it, and they don't use it anymore.
Good.
They don't use it anymore. I mean, their stuff is they've gone towards a more natural.
Good. That's good to know.
You see the air quotes natural
yeah.
Solution that they put on, but they don't use the Roundup, because I was like, okay, first of all, I don't want this on our ground, but second of all of the people that are using the Roundup, like, you guys have some serious things going on that, I mean, if nothing else, gut health has got to be crappy, your immune system's probably shot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So one of my friends, they moved here for their little boy to get treatment at St. Jude, and they have done everything natural possible. And St. Jude has invited them to participate in a study because they've seen this little boy turn around a deadly cancer like nobody's business. She posted something the other day that they were able to call the city of Collierville and ask that they not spray anything around their home. And they have a no spray list.
Really?
So like when they go spraying for mosquitoes, they won't spray around their home.
But wouldn't the wind?
Yeah, I mean, that's an issue, but we got to start somewhere.
Well, that's true.
So
that's true.
I was just happy to hear that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And I know that there are cities around the country who are starting to refuse to put all these chemicals on parks,
Yeah.
and
Right.
letting the wildflowers that why do we call them weeds? I don't know, but
They're
they're letting
not.
them grow.
They're not. They are the indigenous plants
Yeah.
that grow in that area, or they're medicinal weeds. They're medicinal plants.
Yeah.
That grow in our yards and things like that. Yeah.
So Zach Bush, one of the interesting things he talks about, and you can find him on YouTube, is he 2 years ago, before coronavirus 19, he called this. He said, "You watch, the next pandemic is going to come out of central China because Roundup went off patent."
Mhm.
And in Wuhan, they snatched that up, and so they now have the biggest Roundup creating facility, and they use more Roundup there than almost anywhere. And he said, if you look at the data in recorded history, pandemics come on the tail end of massive industrialization and chemicalization, where we destroy the water, the air, and the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. True.
So if we would stop destroying the water, the air, and the soil with all these toxins, we could potentially stop having these pandemics one after another.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're a complex, dynamic system.
Mm-hmm.
We're all related.
We're all connected.
Yeah, we're all connected. What we do to the earth, we do to ourselves.
Yep.
And so we've got to stop this, the way we're thinking, and the way we're behaving.
Absolutely.
So
I agree.
how are you feeling? Are you tired?
A little.
Your eyes look glossy.
Yeah, I feel,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling like,
Yeah. So
I
that's
could
a
totally
good
go to sleep.
sign, because that
Mhm.
means something's working. That means
yay!
So the frequencies, back to the frequencies, they have a resonance effect. So you can take your key fob and you can go out into the parking lot, and your key fob will only open your car.
Right.
It's the same way with the frequencies. When we get the right frequencies in your body opens up and goes, that's what I need.
Well, you must have got the right frequency, because my eyes are feeling like,
Yeah.
I could totally go to sleep here.
Yeah.
I feel not heavy, but just like, I feel good.
Yeah.
Like, would be a good nap.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But y'all don't need to see me sleep.
When we went and did this training, there were probably 120 people in the room, and she had us all spray our hands with water and hold hands while she used one of these little units, and she would run different frequency pairs. And it was funny because about a quarter of the room during some of those frequencies would just fall back and almost fall asleep. I was not one of them. I wanted to be.
You're like, find my frequency, find my frequency.
Yeah, because when I see people here and they're like, I feel so stoned, I feel good. I'm like, I'm so jealous. I want that. Oh, well. It still works if you don't get that. But for some reason, some people are more susceptible to that endorphin rush than others are.
I wonder if it's people that are, is it people that are more in tune with their bodies?
Maybe so.
But you're very in tune with your body.
I am in some ways, but it would be super fascinating to see data on that.
Like how in tune with your body are you? And if you find the right frequency, does it make you feel really sleepy or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This would be great for my mom, because she is diagnosed with Hashimoto's, but she's a lot of cervical pain.
Yeah. We have had great luck with cervical pain. And if I could plug another person that has helped us, our clients with cervical pain, Tyler Qualls is an upper cervical specialist chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
We've had and I've had a lot of luck with him too, just because I was getting these intensive 2-day headaches.
She gets the headaches from the cervical pain too.
Yeah. And they were so bad. They were like migraine level.
Mm-hmm.
And when he went and adjusted, and it was the weirdest adjustment, I was on my hands and knees on the floor on this table he has that's down there, and he adjusted that upper. I haven't had a headache since that one adjustment.
Really?
not one.
Okay, you're gonna have to give me his information the
Yeah.
next time my mom comes here.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell them, who is that person?
Tyler Qualls at Mississippi Upper Cervical. So he's right across state line in Mississippi.
Okay.
And we've had clients with vestibular issues that he's helped. We've had clients with all kinds of, not just cervical pain, but pain that's referred from those cervical discs. So he's been a great help for the people in our practice and me personally.
Wow.
And I'm always loving to hear about anybody who's doing all this kind of work, because share the love.
Well, absolutely. And you know what? I think that we need more of us around, right? Like I don't do the same things that you do.
Yeah.
And even if I did do the same, we need more people like us out there. You know, there's not just one ENT, person. There's not just one pediatric person. There's lots of them. And so so the more alternative medicine people, practitioners that we have, the better. It's just
And I'm so grateful for your voice and how you've done this coffee break live, because a lot of times we're in an uphill battle when we start talking lifestyle change. It's not easy, and we do try to make it so that it's not overwhelming, but to have you out there on a consistent basis educating about why these things are important is vital. And especially now, I've been so disappointed in our government that they are not educating about taking care of your immune system.
Yeah, you would think that would be the first thing they would talk about. Okay, let's just start with the first thing you can do after you wash your hands and all of that. The next thing you need to do is look at your immune system. These are the things. It's funny because I saw something that Fauci said about vitamin C and D, and initially he was like, there's no scientific basis for that. But then you find out he's taking vitamin C and D.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't you talk about that? I mean, not everything has to have a scientific study that to prove it works. You have 3,000 years of proof that that works. Like colonics. Colonics were started in the Nile River. You can't dispute that. Why they weren't just doing it because, you know what I mean? Like, oh, let's just go do this. No, it was. I mean, there's reasons why some of these things, and we need to get back to that type of taking our health back into our own hands.
I agree.
Those things that our grandmas and grandpas and great grandmas and grandpas and things that were handed down to us. Yes, some of them are a little whack and they just didn't know any better.
Right.
But a lot of those things are really they just didn't know how to explain it.
Yes.
But really have, I know this works.
Yeah.
Like I know that eating garlic will help with colds or onions on your chest or, things like that. Garlic and onions on your ear for an earache or, things that they work. Why? Well, they don't know the science behind the fact that garlic and onions are, are like nature's antibacterials and antivirals and antifungals, but they just know that if you did that, it worked.
Right. But nobody is going to make money off that. Therefore, they're not going to pay for a study.
Well, yeah, because you can't patent an herb.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can't say, oregano because it is nature's antibiotic and you can't, I can't patent oregano.
Yeah.
So I can't make money off of oregano.
Well, this is one of the things. So I'm a certified epigenetic wellness coach. So that means that I look at people's genome and we figure out how do we create your lifestyle so that it's optimal for you as a unique person. Well, the doctor over our program, a medical doctor, he's like, one of the things that we all need to start to understand is that just because a double-blind research study said something works, what that really means is it worked for a certain percentage of people under those conditions.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you can automatically take that and say, it'll work for me.
Yep.
Everybody is an N of one. Everybody is unique.
Yep.
And so when we're being consumers of research, first of all, we need to not get caught up in how journalists write these headlines about research that oftentimes aren't even representative of what the research
Right,
study said.
right.
You know, but second of all, we need to be good consumers and actually know how to read a research article, because a lot of times what they find in the research article doesn't accurately reflect the data.
Right.
Right.
Or that's why it's really important to like also look who wrote the research, like
Right.
where
Who
did the
funded
research
it?
come from, who funded the research, where did who, what was the reason behind the research. Like you have to take all of that into consideration
Yeah.
when you're reading the research.
Yeah.
And even if it's peer reviewed, it still needs to be well peer reviewed from what standpoint. Like
Yeah.
you have to look at the standpoint of where this article is written or how it's come about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's why y'all need us because that's what we do.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Not everybody wants to, and not everybody's called.
Yeah, and
To
not
do
everybody
that.
knows how to do that or
Yeah.
how to look at it from that particular point of view, or has the time, or
Yeah.
like that's just not their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
They stay in their lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, oh, this feels so good.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So we've got like a minute left, and you will have been done with a 45-minute roll. And oh, I'm gonna. Okay, now I've got to get my frequency book out because I'm gonna increase vitality in your thyroid. But I don't have those frequencies memorized, so I got to get my handy dandy book out.
You mean you don't have a million frequencies
I
memorized
know.
in
What's
your head?
wrong
Oh my
with me?
goodness.
What is wrong with me?
I could absolutely see how, utilizing your services will help in my own practice with my clients, and adding it as part of their overall protocol.
Yeah, I love this frequency stuff. I'm addicted to it myself. Because
And I do truly believe in it. Truly believe in it.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. All right, so we're going to increase vitality in that thyroid. All right. But I'm not going to run it very long because the frequencies they're very strong. And so we got to be careful and mindful because more is not always better.
That's right.
Especially when we're dealing with assisting the body and doing its own job, right?
Exactly. Same thing with essential oils.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with herbs. More doesn't necessarily mean better. And once again, if you're watching, I'm not feeling anything from the frequencies that are attached to the towels that are laying on my body. But what I feel is very calm and very relaxed and just sleepy.
Yeah, her eyes are glazed. And a lot of times when people come in, if we're not doing like the PTSD work, because some people when they do that, they want to talk.
Yeah.
Right. But a lot of times when people come in, we'll talk for a little bit and then they just want to take a nap because it really does make them feel we're on low battery.
Okay.
There we go. So, all right.
All right. Is it going?
We're going, and I'm just going to do you 1 minute.
Okay, cool.
1 minute. Because 1 minute in frequency land tends to be a lot, unless we're repairing something that's torn and broken, and then it takes time.
So this is actually something that you could use on your animals then.
Yes.
So if you have an animal that has an injury, or like I have Kitty has obsessive licking issue.
Yeah.
So I'm actually using a tincture on her, which is working, but I would like to get to the root cause. I mean, I feel like that may not necessarily be the root cause of it. It just helps to calm her down.
Yeah.
But trying to get to rewiring her brain,
Yeah.
there's got to be a frequency for that.
There would be. So what I would do with that kitty is I would program a bunch of frequencies that had to do with gut health, with skin health, with calming the nervous system, and I would load them into a glass of water and send you home with it.
Oh,
And have
then
her
have her
drink
drink it.
the water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, if you have a unit at home, a lot of people will put out, a wet warm towel, put the leads on it, and have their pet lay on the towel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
It depends on how cooperative your pet is.
How long? Well, if you're petting her, she's fine. How long does the frequency last in water?
So Carol, I think I need to go look this up, but I think it's a matter of hours
Okay.
that it lasts. There are people who load the frequencies into like different oils, and I did that for a chronic pain client, and she swears that oil lasted about a week, where it would help relieve her pain when she put the oil on.
Oh, that's genius.
So we just, we're always experimenting and trying things. And fortunately, we're not going to there's no downside to the frequencies. With this caveat, I have never, ever had this happen. But we tell people about this, and I need to tell you. So the frequency, and I didn't use a lot of these frequencies on you, but the frequency to reduce inflammation is so stinking powerful that if you had a bacterial infection that you didn't know about, in about 4 hours, you would start to feel yucky. And that would mean that you would call your teledoc and say, I need a low level antibiotic, or whatever you do for antibiotic. But, so in some ways it tells us information with that frequency, because, acute inflammation is important.
Right.
If your body was using acute inflammation to contain a bacterial infection, when we use that 40 frequency, it could take it offline for a couple, like 4 hours.
Okay.
So typically, I've never had it happen, but they say that if that happens, people will start to feel worse instead of better.
So kind of like you kind of like having a healing crisis.
Yeah.
The Herxmeyer syndrome, where you're going to feel worse before you feel better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Yeah. So, but that chronic inflammation is a big problem, but that acute inflammation is super important. Our body has to be able to differentiate.
It's when you have the overabundance of the inflammation, the acute inflammation, where it leads long term into chronic.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we have Hashimoto's. That's one of the struggles that we have.
Mm-hmm.
That chronic inflammation, which we can really dig down into. So.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to turn this puppy off. I'm going to take these off. And I'm going to have you get up very slowly because you've been on heat. And I'm going to get you some water.
So I feel amazing. First of all, I feel very relaxed, and I feel that heat felt really good.
Good.
The heat felt really, really good. Thank you.
And I would usually also tell people to take like some vitamin C or some magnesium or some N-acetylcysteine, some antioxidants, because, if you do have any kind of detox reaction, you want to have some good antioxidants to help your system go through it.
Get rid of it. Yeah. Oh, wow. This was amazing. This was absolutely amazing. Well, thank you, ma'am. Let me see if we go this way. So you come over this way. Well, thank you, Leanne.
Thank you.
This was wonderful. And if you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments. And Leanne's going to be tagged here. So if she sees any comments, she will absolutely answer any of your questions. I'm also going to put all of the contact information for the clinic here in the comments below. And I'm going to put all of the information for NeuroSource in the comments below so that you can contact them, get connected with them, get connected with my beautiful friend Leanne here, and get help with that pain management that you have. This is another tool, another source for healing, for alternative health. And it is really about supporting your body so that your body can do the work that it's supposed to do to heal.
Amen.
All right. Well,
Amen.
on that note, do you have any last thing to say?
I just want to encourage everybody to keep listening to Dr. Latina and all her amazing education, and take your health into your own hands by listening to her and people like her, because that's where the hope lies, that we all become healthy. And as we age, we get to impart our wisdom instead of going down into illness and dementia. We need that. We need to be aging beautifully and imparting wisdom and caring for the younger generations who've been overloaded with toxins. There's my pulpit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And on that note, thank you all for joining us. And
Bye.
remember, you're already a winner because you woke up this morning. See you all tomorrow. All right.
Awesome.
Bye.
Awesome.